Loki. So I am so hyped to be joined by an artist who has been blowing me away with every upload that they've sent our
Stop.
way over the last year. The legendary Queen Cult. I'm joined by Maisie, fresh from the studio. How's it been today?
Absolutely knackering, but in the best way, so I can't complain.
So talk us through it. What's your setup for getting your tunes down?
Oh, well, we've got a studio that we started building during the bits of lockdown that you could kind of be apart enough to put a plank of wood up on a wall and build a wall. So it was quite interesting. So we've got our own space that we basically start demoing our tracks in, which is pretty handy. Very lucky to have that. And yeah, we were just over in the studio in Stoke. A guy called Sam, great producer. So we've just been tracking some drums today. Not going to tell you what for, but it's good.
Hopefully some new music, some new projects coming forward, because I think the last single we had from you was in September, wasn't it?
It absolutely was.
What can you
Yes.
tell us about Better Believe It?
Do you know what? I've been through a few jobs in my life. I say that like I'm about 60, but anyway, I have. I get bored. And particularly a job I was in last year. This is amazing because I'm like outing everyone I've ever worked with. But basically, the gossip in that place was like nothing I had ever experienced in my life. So this song was a massive, you know, F you, if you like, to all the people that kind of felt that they actually had some say in your life and the things that you know matter to you. And I just kind of thought, you know what, you better believe it because I'm not gonna mess about with this. You know what, you can all do one and see you later.
I love how
Basically.
you just tell
So
it like it is. Honestly,
oh,
no
always.
mess, no beating around the
Oh,
bush.
no beating around the bush. I am all about in the moment when it comes to lyrics. Always in the moment. Always that feeling's right there on the tip of your tongue. That's always the time for me anyway to pounce and just give it.
So, what kind of artist did you bond over when you came together as a band?
Oh, do you know? I don't know. That's a really good question. We've all got quite an eclectic taste in music, but if we're gonna go common ground, all three of us like Sleep Token actually, which is quite heavy on the, but it's still quite melodic. So that's something we all have quite a lot of common ground on. Because obviously, what we do is like it's kind of pop arrangements in a rock outfit. That's kind of like Queen Cult. Whereas like Sleep Token's like metal, but like still very melodic. So yeah, we all kind of on the same page with that one. Brodie will love that I've just mentioned Sleep Token because he's an absolute massive fan.
And you're like located in Macclesfield. So, like, for those that are not aware of the geography, you're kind of like halfway between Manchester and Stoke, aren't you? Which is just slightly outlier of the cities.
It's a bit in the sticks, some people would say, but do you know what? Considering it's a teeny tiny town, it's all right. To be fair, it's a good night out. Bit silly.
It's also Joy Division and New Order territory, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I got down. Honest to God, if I see another person in the local Macclesfield Memories group chat on Facebook put up Ian Curtis's memorial one more time, I swear I'm just gonna flip because I'm not kidding. We've got a memorial in the town now above some like off license with just Ian Curtis's head. It's amazing, by the way. The artist who did it, incredible. But it's just any time you mention Macclesfield to anyone around the world, first thing they do is go Joy Division, and you're like, oh, see, when will the day be that it'll be Queen Cult?
It's coming, right?
Hey, I joke. I actually do joke. Jesus Christ, but it's fun.
I mean, you've got such an energetic sound, and it's really reminded me with this new, like return of Paramore with the new music that again has that really melodic sound to it. You do manage to capture that energy, but you've still got that melody running through the music. Is it really important to you to have that kind of cohesive sound?
Well, first off, thank you. That's really nice of you. Two, in terms of influences growing up, Paramore obviously was a big one, being like, you know, a teenager around that time. As was like, you know, bands like No Doubt, you know, sometimes a bit of a scary feel, especially like in Better Believe It. You can kind of sense a little of that as well coming in. And the angst that they kind of carry as women as well as front women. But I think ultimately, for me, what matters the most is like when I was saying before about like in the moment with what it is you're trying to say. It's not that it being energetic's the important thing. It's just that whatever importance comes out naturally tends to be that way. It's only natural that it just happens to end up energetic and a bit like chaotic sometimes. We were once explained, or someone described us as like controlled chaos, which I thought was quite interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think whatever feels passionate to someone, and to me it's always been that way. It's more aggressive than it is kind of solemn and slow.
Do you see yourself as a live band?
Yeah, 100%. We're very live focused. Like it only takes coming to one gig to know we are just all about that connection between us and the audience. I think that's got to be the most important bit.
And are there any super fans?
We do. We have our official number one to this day, Hef. She knows who she is. Hey, Hef. Hope you're listening. That was our first ever official fan, and we've noted that down. And I think we're gonna have to sign that off soon because from day one, yeah, she's just been there, and yeah, genuine. That's how we became friends, which was really nice.
I always feel like when there are women in the band, those that identify as women as well, they're just so, especially in like rock and metal music, there's almost like an underlying thing there and a passion to make like gigs safe as well, safe spaces.
Yeah,
Do you feel
100%.
like you're really passionate and working towards that at your gigs as well? Is that important to you?
It's massively important to me. As a queer woman as well, it's interesting actually. There's some gigs going on in Sheffield. Double Dare was the promoter at the time, affiliated with like Sophie and the Giants and other musicians. And they were putting on a load of events like this last year. So coming off the back of lockdown, and we were playing at one. But obviously, watching, I think there was like 5 bands on the bill, and they made a great example of creating the perfect safe space because that night, I think it's the first time I've ever talked to a girl at a bar, kissed a girl at the bar, and not felt like a flinch or like a moment of feeling uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, how sad is that? That that's probably the first time I've kissed a girl at the bar and not felt uncomfortable and not felt like a comment is about to hit like within seconds, you know? So yeah, it's super important that that's something that we can create as a band as well, and we're all for it.
Amazing. I'm so pleased to hear that change is happening, albeit
Yeah,
at possibly a slower rate than we would like to
it's,
see.
you know what the weird thing is though as well, Shell, is like the fact you're having to almost, you're not intentionally doing it, but it's almost creating a divide again in order to make that a safe space, and that just says everything. The fact that you're having to kind of do that to stop the bad when really you want everyone to kind of come together, but it's close-mindedness that's kind of stopping that from happening.
Yeah. So talking tours, you've got some dates coming up, haven't you? Where are you going to be and when?
Oh my god. So February 2023, we are busy bees. So far we have got Valentine's Day in Brighton at the Green Door store. We've got the 15th in London at Paper Dress Vintage, the 16th in Sheffield at Sydney and Matilda, 17th in Manchester at Yes Basement, and then the 23rd in Portsmouth at Wedgwood Rooms. And it's our
Iconic.
first headline tour for us. So this is a big one. So we're absolutely cacking our pants that hoping that everyone will turn up, because if they don't, Jesus Christ. But also super excited to just absolutely send it.
Some iconic venues there, though. There really
I
are.
know, absolutely. There's a couple of favourites in there for us for sure.
So, what can we expect on your live shows? Because also, have you got one this year as well?
We do, yeah. We're playing with the Get Alongs, who are doing a massive reunion gig. They're a big Stoke band. I don't think they've played for like a good 10 years or so. So it's planning to be quite a big night, hopefully a bit of a sellout because of their local following. So that'll be at the Underground on the 27th of December, along with Honey as well, which is another great band. We love those girls. So yeah, that'll be good fun.
Post Christmas party.
Absolutely. We all need one.
Literally, full of like turkey or a vegetarian alternative.
I'll
Um,
probably be working it off at that point, to be honest with you. I'll just jump extra hard that night.
and what can we expect from the live shows? New music, hopefully.
Yes, yeah, we'll definitely be playing new music. We're actually kind of scrubbing a few things up live at the moment because we've had certain changes that we've had to kind of adapt to. So a lot of energy, a lot of big riffs, especially in some of the new stuff that we've been sorting out. So this is going to be a stomper of a gig. This is what we're expecting, is a pure stomp and a dressing gown. I'll leave it there.
I mean, we've had a dressing gown. Is that for after or during?
Well, I'm just going to say the word dress. That's the buzzword. That's it. That's all you're going to know. You have to come to the gig to find out what that's about.
Nice tease. You should work in radio.
Oh.
So obviously we've had a series of singles soon. Are we going to get something lengthier and longer in 2023?
Oh, well, you see, I think potentially during the time that we're on tour, something maybe about, yeah.
Okay. So we
But
need to keep
I
our
can't
eyes
give
and
you
ears peeled.
yeah, just something around that time. I think you should just keep your eyes and ears open to see what present may arrive at the start of that tour.
Maisie, you're a legend. Thank you so much for joining us today.
So are you, Shell. Thanks very much for having me.